Again, Mr. Williams, I invite you to conversate with me directly. I don't do all this internet stuff. The problem is you're going after my family, you post my children, and then you mention my name. So you and I, we need to have a conversation. And yes, this is a forever problem.
By the time I turn 30 years old, I will have at least $1 million.
You hungry? Let's make a snack.
Hey, poppin' like I'm supposed to. Watch out for the people that ain't close to. Speak a little something you could toast to. I ain't tryna hear about what you won't do. Moving like I'm into. Hit the ground running like the rain do. Speak a little something that you're into. I ain't tryna hear about what you've been through.
Is so much scamming being mentioned around you. You know, what's interesting? The people who are scammed out of money, out of whatever I scammed them out of, where they at? Where they post at? Where they stuff at? Why we ain't heard from them? Think about it. Then start shouting. Huh?
Hello out there in all of our platforms. If you can hear me, let me know in the chat by entering Chicago years, because that is what we will be covering this evening. The Chicago years of what back then when he was a baby scammer. Darius Cooks was a baby scammer. Hold on, I'm doing a few little things here. I needed that 5-minute countdown so bad this time. It was so much going on. All right, we got Chicago years, Chicago. Wow, this chat is going fast tonight. Thank you, Megan and Precious G and Reggie and Nakia and Rashina and Carol and Kingdom Girl and Marion Coker and Wendy and Gwendolyn and Nicole. Thank you all for letting me know that you can hear me. My camera is not even set up properly. It's just been a little bit of a whirlwind. But what's up to everyone on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch? And of course, as I say, every live, practically, we will eventually be on Instagram and TikTok too when I start doing those setups versus, cutting corners. Also, remember, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't as of yet, because we do have a goal of 50K. We'll see when we reach it. But that is our next benchmark for our channel growth here is 50K, and we're growing on all the other platforms as well, so God is good. Also, I am very close. Yesterday was a very good day for working towards getting our t-shirts and merchandise, etc. So I can't wait till I can share that with you guys, but made some major headway on yesterday. That will simplify my life as well in getting that stuff out to you guys with quality. And, we won't have those sort of scandals that are happening over there in Crookland. We're talking about Chicago, but also let me know in the chat where you are from. Put where you are from in the chat. I know we got people all over the country. The merch, Precious G, noticing her comment, but the merch will be, my goal is to get it out and that way you guys can, gift it to people for the holidays. Yes. So, or gift it to yourself for the holidays. Hopefully gift it to yourself and somebody else for the holidays. Happy birthday, Megan. I hope you got your birthday. I hope you're in the VIP. If you are, you should have gotten your birthday wish from me as well this morning. It was like, I think 6 people who have a birthday on today. So every every day I can see in our text community, the VIP text community, it'll tell me how many birthdays we have, and then I can send a message, etc. So I sent this morning. One day it was 9 people, but usually it's somewhere between 5 and 6 people on average, almost every day. Also, I don't know. I'm just a little discombobulated. I'm wondering how many of you also kind of start to struggle with the season as soon as we hit daylight savings. Like I really struggle in the winter months with seasonal affective disorder. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. I did a video about it a long time ago, like when my channel was brand new. But we'll talk about that more like on Patreon and stuff. I'll be more transparent. But anyway, I feel it today. Yesterday, I felt that I was tired, but it made sense why I was tired, driving and going to court and then, being up that night with y'all and going over the notes and all of that. So yesterday made sense why I couldn't quite get it together. But today I'm like, okay, it's time to get back on it. And I'm struggling a little bit. So I'm sure I'm not the only one because it's a thing. It's a thing. But anyway, speaking of our text community, or I think speaking of sharing, we have our VIP text community, which is I'm working with 2 different mouse pads, and they're both right next to each other because this setup is a lot smaller than I got at home. So I keep grabbing the wrong mouse to work with because I got 2 computers. It's a whole thing, y'all. It's a whole thing over here. I never sent y'all the setup picture. So I'm going to send the setup picture tonight. After we get off live, I'll send you a picture of this setup that you're viewing me from here at the Airbnb for those of you who are into that sort of thing. But anyway, our VIP text community number is scrolling across the screen with ways that you can add an extra layer of support. But the VIP text community will allow you to get messages and notifications about major updates from this channel and from me, and also notifications of when I upload new videos or when we're going live. Today, I figured out a workaround to be able to notify everyone because I told you guys they limited me now to only being able to message 1,000 people at a time, which then leaves out like a lot of people. Nearly another 1,000 people get left out. So what I figured out I could do today was I was messaging people by time zone because it separates y'all into different categories. And I realized if I do by time zones, if I do every single time zone as a separate message, then I can reach all of you. The problem is I can only do that through the computer. So if I'm on the road and moving around and stuff like I usually am, I can't do it from my phone through the app. But today I was able to do it, and that's why everyone was notified about tonight's live. So I'm only one man. I'm only one man. One day I won't be able to say that, but we got a little while. Also, don't forget about our VIP Facebook community. It is amazing over there. I love the energy. We are, I think, 3 weeks in now, and the vibe has remained very positive. I love the fact that you guys support each other. You're showing each other love, sharing stories, little tidbits and all that. So I love it. I get a lot of communication on a lot of platforms. And so I'm not always able to like fully respond in writing to every single thing that's happening, but I try to at least heart it or like it to let you know I saw it or whatever. I may not always say anything, but if I heart it or like it, that, trust me, I'm engaged. That's my way of engaging. But I can't communicate with 300-400 people every single day. Some days I can squeeze it in. Most days I can't. To be honest, most days I can't. I'm only one man. I'm only one man. But anyway, yes, join our VIP text community. Did I put I did. I pinned it into. I did that earlier. So it's pinned in the chat area at the top, and so that's the link. You can click on that and join the purpose-driven community we have over here. Also, in our purpose-driven community, just a little bit of guidelines for engagement during our live streams. Please do not use any curse words, misspell them. If you have no ability to restrain yourself, misspell the curse words. Otherwise, unfortunately, we will have to delete your comment entirely. Also, do not use, well, it doesn't really apply here, but, the words ill or smurder. Don't use that here. Use a different word. And also, this is my virtual home, so real life rules apply here. So in order to engage with any of us here, you must be kind, you must be respectful, and if you disagree, that's okay. You don't have to be in lock sync with me and everything I think. And so disagreeing is fine because we all have different life experiences, etc. But disagree without being disagreeable or ignorant. Ignorant. So that means do not insult this community as a whole, any of the community members in the chat, or myself, the host. And I did, I was watching the live back that we did on, what was that, Monday? And I noticed a little bit of tussling going on between, it was one person in particular who was kind of, to me, ruffling some feathers, asking questions, and then when people answered them for them, then they got offended. And I was like, okay, you the one to ask the question. The person told them that in the chat. But anyway, be careful with that. Be mindful, because my finger was like about to block, and I was like, no, give him a chance. Give him a chance. Because I don't like that energy. It's not necessary. If you ask a question, somebody's trying to help you with the question, don't get offended because they're answering a question. Like, just don't ask questions. Just be quiet. Watch. Watch in silence. Also, another update. Yes, thank you so much, Don Smart. Be kind, respectful, agree to disagree with respect. Thank you so much. Also, today, a little bit of why I'm a little discombobulated and needed that extra time besides the whole seasonal thing is because what we're doing tonight was not supposed to happen. I was going to surprise you guys with a special live stream interview. And I was actually asked a couple weeks ago to either remove, I was asked to remove a video that I had done on Alex V. Miller. He reached out to me via Instagram. He left me 2 video messages. And one was saying, basically he was saying, I'm hurting his business, I'm kicking a black man while he down kind of thing. And that is not my goal at all. But we know, those of you who saw that video, you know what it was about. And I was reading court documents. So anyway, he wanted either me to take the video down, which was not an option, because had it been incorrect or anything like that, yes, I would have took it down immediately. But I literally just read court documents. On top of that, he's not someone that I discovered myself. I didn't know about him until people reached out to me and asked me to do a story on him. And through my research is how I even found out about the court case, because the people who were asking, who were scammed, they were customers who allegedly were scammed by him. They didn't tell me about anything about the court case. I found that through my own research, and that's what I presented to you guys in the video. So we literally just went through the court documents, the complaint. And so, but I was open to, because again, my goal is not just to tear someone down, tear a legitimate business person down. But if you are a scammer, all bets are off. I'm here to protect y'all, not them. So anyway, so there was some communication. We agreed to have that interview tonight at 7 p.m. I'm here. Exchange information. I tried to confirm on yesterday, got nothing. Today, nothing. And so I don't know if he changed his mind, which is totally fine. It's okay. But here's the problem. I wasn't thinking about you. I wasn't on that number. I had moved on. He claims he tried to insult me too with part of his message. But some of this I'm gonna give y'all on Patreon, because I'm gonna really give it to y'all. But anyway, he tried to say I was doing it for clicks and views. I'm like, dude, I moved on in your video. They didn't get it. Ain't people be killing me. We talking about some doing stuff for clicks and views. I'm like, I got 6-figure videos here. Yours, when it does 6,000 or 8,000 views, is cute. Thank you, but it ain't changing my life over here. But anyway, I haven't heard from him, but in preparation for what we planned weeks ago, I have done research. I have done my due diligence because I wanted to give him an opportunity on my platform, But I also wasn't to let there be no smoke and mirrors all around here bamboozling people. And so I did my due diligence so I would know what to ask and all of that. Because again, I hadn't paid no attention to him since my last video, really. So anyway, because of that, I got ish to share. And I'm still gonna share it. So what I decided to do was tomorrow, we gonna talk about the stuff. I decided just to do the Darius Cooks thing because I was like, now I got to do. Really, it was just going to be me asking him questions based on what I researched or getting his reply. Now it's just going to be me talking to you guys. So I need to reformat it and think through. So I was like, well, I'll save that for tomorrow. And today we'll go with the Darius Cooks thing because I know this shit like back of my head, back of my hand rather. So that's why we're doing this. And this is our regular Wednesday night thing. I was just trying to surprise y'all. But anyway, so tomorrow we will be doing the update on Alex V. Miller. And Alex, if you still want to have a conversation, I am more than open to allowing you on this platform to address the audience and answer questions, etc., about what you've been accused of. Oh, I'm sorry, for those of you who may not have watched the video ever, he was accused of $9 million in scams related to credit repair in Houston, Texas. And so the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, actually filed a suit against him based on the complaints. And they obviously had, their evidence that it was up to $9 million. And so that's what I went over in the video. I don't know what else to tell y'all. I don't know what else to tell him. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. Maybe Alex will join me tomorrow, or maybe he'll join me at a later point, and maybe he'll never come this way again. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so that brings us to what we are here tonight, talking about the birth of a scammer in Chicago. Unfortunately, my hometown, giving us a bad name. But anyway, so tonight, what I'm going to do, again, because all over the place, trying to regroup compared to what we were supposed to do and what we're doing now. What I decided to do with the Darius Cooks in doing this retrospective, taking us to the beginning, origins of birthing a scammer, is we're going to basically watch some clips from my original series. So I started this series back in, I'm guessing, but maybe August or September of 2021. And so I had I want to say 4-part series or something. And so in that series, I literally go over like all the details in way more detail than I'm even going to do tonight, as far as his origins and also how we met, our interaction and all of that. I'll gloss over some of that, but if you really, you can still watch those videos if you never have to get more. So I'm going to play some of those clips, but then I'm going to add pieces in there that I may have forgot to mention. There was a couple things that I kind of forgot. My memory is a little off. And then over time, I was like, oh, no, this was that, not that kind of thing, which always happens when I pre-record, which is why I like engaging with y'all, because then it reminds me of things in the moment versus me recording and putting it out and then watching it like, God, no, I forgot that. So anyway, I'm glad that you all seem like you are ready. Yes, he's been scamming for 22 years. I can believe it because I've seen it. I mean, just knowing we'll get into it. So what I'm going to do, again, bear with this seasonal thing, y'all, and pray for me that I can push through the winter with ease. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by playing the intro. And if this starts glitching and stuff, because my computer is already running slow, then I'm going to try to share a screen. We're going to do that anyway with some of this and watch my actual video from YouTube. But this part, I actually pulled the clips and added them to the stream. So hopefully, let's see how this goes. Welcome. Okay, great. That looks good. Oh, I didn't mean to remove it. I meant to pause. Where today? Okay, so I don't know how clear I was. So what we're about to do is watch the intro of the series of Surviving Darius Cooks. This is where it all began on this channel. This is literally the first time that I did a video about this situation. And I really laid it out. I actually overshared as I was watching it today to pull something. I was like, oh, I shouldn't have shared that part, but it's out there now. Oh, all right, let's go. And then I'll interrupt and pause here or there. Again, I know the family, y'all ain't gonna care. Y'all gonna be cool with however I do this. But if you are new to this channel and you want to watch this video, the video we're watching together, there's the full video on my channel in my playlist. Please don't be responding or commenting. You kept interrupting. I'm about to keep interrupting. I'm letting you know now.
It is time to serve up the long-awaited Surviving Darius Cooks series, where I take you on an intimate journey through the life of the man behind the mask of an innocent social media personality, from his early life through his most recent scam and crimes. So over the foreseeable future, I will be serving up courses of videos that will pretty much put together all the pieces of this elaborate web of sociopathic lies and deceit. Yes, so consider this the first video in our book of Darius Cooks, Chapter 1. Darius Cooks was born Darius Travoy Williams on December 29th of 1981 in Chicago, Illinois, which, if you follow the zodiac signs like me, means that he is ambitious, sensitive, disciplined, as well as his negative traits, which I personally experienced, which was being stubborn and a know-it-all, which you can still see today if you watch any of his Instagram live videos. Now, the stories of Darius's early years.
Bear with me. I was trying to adjust my light a little bit. But a thing I forgot here, again, things I noticed during my edit after, I pre-recorded it, is that I talked about when he was born, and I even had the zodiac sign because he's a Capricorn. And let me see if I can pull it up for y'all. I got the Capricorn image in the back, but I never once said he's a Capricorn, which means, that he's a know-it-all and da-da-da. And no offense to my Capricorns, but if you look up your sign, it does say that. And I know some Capricorns, but none of, I will say the other Capricorns I know are not like evil with their power. Like, you guys are business minded and all of that, money conscious usually. He's the only one that I've ever seen be a predator with those gifts. But okay, so I'll do a little bit of that, little things I forgot or edit, never added and all of that.
Any of his Instagram live videos. Now, the stories of Darius's early years have really only been told by him. Although I have met his cousins, his mom, his younger siblings, and pretty much anyone who was close to Darius during our time together, looking back, I really can't say that I ever heard any significant childhood stories from any of them regarding Darius. And although his mom seemed nice enough from the few times that I did interact with her, I can't say that we really ever sat down and had any deep conversations in regards to Darius or anything. So until we're able to find out otherwise, we're just gonna go with the consistent parts of the stories that he's told over time. To me personally, those things he shared on his IG Live, there's definitely some conflicting stories, definitely, but there are some pieces that are cohesive and consistent. And so pretty much we're just going to go based on that until we're able to fill in the gaps of the things that, seem a little shaky, which there are a lot of those too.
I'm gonna just keep it going. This is just positive.
Darius was an only child born to his mom, who was a single parent. However, his dad was not a consistent and present force in his life. He's definitely spoke of multiple times, even with me years ago, of one occasion where his father was.
Ain't that a spitting image of him? Like, you really can see Darius or his father in Darius. It's kind of crazy.
Supposed to pick him up, to take him out somewhere and spend time with him. And his father, he said, he sat in the window watching cars go by, and the father never showed up. He said Darius was blowing up his phone, calling him, leaving messages, etc. And the father never showed up. And obviously that really, really impacted Darius, like it has many people who have had those sort of experiences in their life. And for what it's worth, I definitely believe this story because it has not changed in the 20 years that I've known Darius. And
okay, so I'm just pausing there because I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on that in the way that I didn't in the original video. So the story is that Darius was sitting on a porch. He actually retold the story, even though he doesn't watch my channel. When I did this video, he then retold the story and filled in the gaps, which I was like, you sure you watched my video? But anyway, he was sitting on the porch of their apartment building, his mom's apartment building. And he said he was texting his father like 911, 911. His father was supposed to come pick him up, spend a couple of days with him or take him overnight, et cetera, and didn't. And I had heard that story 20 years ago when I first met Darius. Literally the night I met Darius, he talked about his father because his father actually passed away. I want to say it literally was like weeks or no more than a month or so, a month or two before I met Darius, that his father had passed away. It was very recent. And so he was talking about that, but he was talking about how his father was really a stranger to him. He didn't have a relationship with his father. He didn't even feel any now this is him saying this. He didn't feel any emotion when his father died because it was like he didn't know him. Now what I know is that he probably didn't feel emotion because Darius doesn't feel emotion when he blocks someone out of his life or out of his life or whatever. And I think out of this dysfunction or detachment disorder that he has, or attachment disorder that he has, I think it stemmed literally from maybe this moment here or similar moments with his father, and then just kind of grew from there. And you even see that I saw it when we stopped being friends. I saw it when more recently, what you guys can even see is how he has disconnected with his friend Carmen, Chef Carmen. The way he is so dismissive of her now, literally within, a week or two of them, not even that long, but like days of them of her cutting him off or wanting to distance herself from him, it's as if she meant nothing to him. He's so cold and callous in the way that he speaks about her. And I'm like, but this is a fresh friendship that just ended of a person who really had your back in a major, major way that no one can deny. And so most of us who have had friends, even for me with him, years after we were not friends and he scammed me and another friend, well, a bunch of people, but in this business scammed me and another friend. The other friend was more dismissive of Darius than I was. I still wanted to see good for him. I wrote it off as like, oh, he was desperate for money, so he scammed us, et cetera. And I was hoping that he would just be a better person. He's not like that. And so I think this situation with his father had a lot to do with that. He claims she blocked him. Yeah, he claims a lot of stuff. So, and if she blocked him, she has the right to, but if he was a real friend, he would be affected by that or hurt by it and all of that. And he is not. Another recent situation is Jerome. Look at how dismissive he was or is about his breakup with Jerome. That literally just happened. I don't know what has it been a month, y'all? No, it's probably, well, he claimed that by the time he even shared the information, they had been broken up, I think a month or a few weeks. But look at how dismissive, not the fake breakup cry thing, the PSA conference he had where he blamed me for them having to break up or some foolishness. Not that, but when it actually happened, look at how dismissive and how quickly he was moving on and talking about being attracted to other people. People were saying he was already on the dating apps and all of that stuff. This is a dude you were just living with and claiming that you wanted to get a house. You guys build a house or get a house in Florida and have farmland and all this other stuff. And you just like, oh, I broke up with him on FaceTime. What? So anyway, this here, what we're listening to, and this is the reason I wanted to go this far back. So some of you who aren't as familiar can start to understand how we got to where we are today with him and how his behavior, these things here are coming out in his behavior today. It's all connected. It is all connected.
Unfortunately, I think some of this trauma began to create the predator that we are now seeing today. I really think that these sort of things, and we'll get into more, really began to create the person that we see today, those of us who know him for real, outside of online, because it kills me that people online think they know him better than people who know him in real life. But Darius did also have a few half siblings on his father's side. And from what I can remember, Darius pretty much described his father as a rolling stone. He had multiple baby moms and he was kind of a street dude for the most part. Now, from what I can recall from the time that I knew Darius, he didn't have any significant relationship with any of his half siblings. However, I vaguely do remember him reconnecting with a sister. However, from what I recall, it didn't last long at all. Now, one relationship that Darius consistently speaks fond of is his relationship with his grandmother, Pam. From Darius's accounts, he was very close to his grandmother, and she was the inspiration for his interest in the culinary arts. Darius spent a lot of time with his grandmother at points in his life, which cultivated their bond even more. However, unfortunately, in his adolescence, his grandmother passed away.
Okay, and so there's been some talk about the grandmother. Now, what I will say as a person who was a part of his life in a real way for a while, over a decade, for a decade, I think. No, over a decade. But anyway, what I will say is he did talk about his grandmother occasionally and always fondly. But what the difference is, what I noticed years later, once we got into all of this, is that he now credits his grandmother. Like, he speaks of her as if his background is based on his grandmother and her teaching him how to cook and all of these other things, like she was a culinary genius. What I can tell you is that Darius was not talking about his grandmother in that way back in the day. He always liked to cook. He practiced cooking. He cooked a lot. Anytime there was events and things like that, he would always he would cater, like when he had a birthday party or anything like that, he would always cater his own events. He would, on Sundays, just decide he wanted to cook a big dinner and like invite 15 or 20, friends. That was kind of how he got down. But what I later learned is, like, now he has the grandmother cookbook, I'm forgetting, Stories from My Grandmother's Kitchen or whatever. And as people have started to dissect this, I realized that it is very embellished, and it's just made up. Like, it's stuff just flat out made up, because at some point in his evolution through his influencer career, he realized attaching himself to his grandmother and attaching her to his story made him be more endearing to his female, mostly church-going followers. And so he started to lean into that. The reason why this book was the first cookbook was the first one to come out. However, there's also things that are stolen, even stories that are stolen, that are in this book as well, that were stolen from other people's stories. It's crazy, y'all. It's crazy. Also, you will see, as much as he credits his grandmother for being the reason why he got into the culinary field at all, it was inspired, he will always mention her first. However, and again, we're glossing over right now, and this wasn't really my plan, so I don't have that clip. But there's a clip of an interview. Actually, there's a couple. There's a clip of an interview, and there's also an article where he is asked about what inspired him to go into the culinary field, like what made him be interested in food. He never mentions the grandmother. Now, this is a person who you're so inspired by that you dedicated a cookbook to her with a bunch of stories. And then when asked back in the day, now not recent, but this was like 2013, 2014, like as his influencer career was starting to grow, he had, somewhere around 30, 40,000 followers, etc. This is when he's asked that, he's saying that it was Sunny Anderson, Ina Garten, I think is her name, Ina Garten, and somebody else. Never once mentioned his own grandmother. He's talking about celebrities, like celebrity chefs. So it was and this wasn't one time, because you can say, oh, that, maybe he was in a moment or something. No, no. Multiple occasions he was asked that and never once mentioned his grandmother until it was time to promote this. So anyway, I think I'm gonna do a few comments. Let me see. Should I do some? Yeah, I'm gonna do a few comments because I don't want the comments to get too bogged down. Because what? Dang, we've been on here 40 minutes already. I ain't even did nothing. Okay, we literally just got through like 4 minutes of the intro to that video, so we definitely won't do more than that video. We'll see how much we get through. Okay, so I'm doing the comments now. We got Carolyn Chamberlain. Thank you so much. You the man, Vel, love it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you for your support. Means the world. J Rave 609. Thank you so much for the $10. Love your content. Love you for loving my content and supporting my content. Goes a long way. You guys have no idea. JB, if Vel is ever in the market for a new theme song, One Man by Tank would be my recommendation. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna make sure I come back to the stream and remember to check that out. The only thing is that's gonna be a copywritten song, and so I would have to pay to use it. YouTube is now about to start allowing us to use like copywritten songs in our videos, but then we got to share the revenue from that video with whoever song we music we use. I don't know. The music I've been using is copyright free because I subscribe to a service for like $15 a month, and I can take as many songs as I want. So we'll see. And maybe on Patreon or something, I might be able to do that somewhere where I can do it. But I'm gonna check that out. Thank you so much for the recommendation. Old Soda saying he is using the name of his grandmother to grift. Where does he draw the line? He never draws the line. If you haven't learned anything else, or don't take anything else away from this particular live, take away that he has no line at all. It's unfortunate, but it's true. And that's why we're talking about the origins, because I'm trying to get y'all to understand what I know, what I've learned, and what a lot of people who follow this for a long time have known. Lala says, I don't know, Vel. I think it's set up by Todd to come to us with the B bull. I don't know what that means. If you can clarify, Lala, and moderators, if y'all can make sure to start so I see it again. I have zero idea what that means. Who is Todd? I don't know. And I told you I'm struggling tonight, so it could just be my comprehension is off a little bit. Okay, I clicked on something, but something else popped up. Let me see what's happening. That woman was a whole nuclear arms person for the U.S. government turned Food Network. Oh, so Hey You There is talking about Sonny Anderson. So Sonny Anderson, and we've talked about him. I'm not going to go too deep. This timeline that we're on is going to take us through that story in more detail. But this comment is in reference to Sonny Anderson, who Darius Cooks, aka Darius Cooks, claims is jealous of him. I'm sorry, jealous of him. And that is the only reason that she has ever spoken out about him. And good Lord, I forgot to pull that. I actually had a tweet from her that I wanted to store here, and I didn't pull it in. I didn't pull it into the chat. But anyway, Sonny Anderson to this day, like literally like a week or so ago, is still tweeting about Darius Cooks. And when you go to her Twitter, her pinned comment, first thing you see is her saying she's here to keep exposing the scammer Darius Cooks. She is dedicated to it because of the fact that he used her brand, her platform to start scamming on a higher level. He used that exposure to scam people with his Fresh Go scam. So, and we've talked about that a little bit, but again, we're doing a retrospective. This is more the personal aspect of him, and then we move into breaking down the businesses, etc. So that's what that comment was about. Okay, let me return to the others, and then we'll get back into the nitty gritty. Lisa Diane Hunt says he truly don't know how to be friends with people. He just uses people to benefit himself. Yes, he is a predator in the truest sense. I was trying to think of the word. What is it's like an alien. I was just watching something on Netflix, and now I can't think of it. It was like a a new horror show, and it was one of the episodes was called Autopsy, and it was about this alien who came and took over the bodies of humans, and he would use the humans as a host, soak up all what he needed from them, and then find another person to do the same thing to. Darius is the same exact way. I was literally thinking because he's the situation he has with what's her name, Crystal. I don't know if I got her here handy. I don't think I got her in here. But the situation he has with Crystal, where she's his bestie, and it's held out a decent amount of time. And I really think, because I was just thinking about it a little deeper the other day, and I said, I think I figured out why. And I think it's primarily because it's a codependent relationship, but I think she also because of her codependency, she allows him to abuse her. Like, she just takes it. And for whatever benefits she's seeing from it, she just takes it. And that's the reason why their relationship is last, because he's done some horrible offenses to her on his platform as well, telling her business, insulting her, etc. And she just takes it. And that is why they've been able to. And the reason he holds on to her is because she's really down for him. So she's like a Carmen who doesn't take offense ever, or in a real way. And so, that's what he does. He uses people, and he has a person that he can use. Jerome was a person he was using, and either for him, it doesn't always have to be the person getting tired of being used. It can be him at a certain point feeling like he has no more use for them. And for whatever reason, he felt that he had no more use for Jerome. Lala says, I was talking about Carmen and Darius debacle. I think it's fraud. I think they both are in on it, and it's a raw joke. Oh, okay. With Todd from the Housewives of Atlanta. I'm getting caught up with what's happening over there. I'm still a little vague. I did see and this is not about Carmen, but I did see the video that she did talking about her business partner. And she had just come from court or something. Come from seeing her attorney, I think she said. So I did see that video. I'm slowly catching up, but I still don't. I'm not as familiar with. Here's Chef Carmen here for those of you who don't know. So this was one of Darius's friends until literally days ago. I was about to read that, but it's gone. How is he not in jail? He had a whole bakery trap house. Well, that's more of a civil thing. Now, had someone gotten sick and possibly, unfortunately passed away or something, then it would have become criminal. Had it been, because the bakery was not licensed, never had any health inspections, because although he registered the business in the state of Georgia, you can register any business. All of us can right now just make up a Vail business and literally call it Vail's business and get an articles of incorporation in the state of Georgia. We ain't got to do nothing with it. And so they don't necessarily, and we call it Vail's bakery business. And that doesn't automatically mean that the state of Georgia is going to be pursuing to say, hey, where is your health and sanitation license? Did you get licensed with the village you're in or the city you're in? That ain't how that worked. And so what he did was he did that part of the business, and then he just started operating, made some deal with some landlord who didn't care about that part of it, saying, hey, I want to make sure you got a license when you're up in here, because it's liability for him too. He just opened up in a business and started baking cakes, and did it as long as he could until he ruined every relationship with every employee he had, and they all left him. And he was trying to do it himself, which is why a lot of people stopped getting cakes. That's why they were moldy. That's why they were dried out. They were packaged wrong, all kind of stuff. Some people never, ever got a cake when he shut the business down that had ordered. That's the whole thing. But anyway, I'm gonna read these couple moderators. You can hold off just putting any comments. I'm gonna read these three or four. and then I'm going to get back to the content. Well, attachment style and personality disorders are psychological, not astrological. Anyone can assume them. Very, very clear on that. Hey, you there. That was not what I meant by giving his characteristics or traits of a zodiac sign. I'm not saying that determines someone's complete personality, but there is some level of truth to it. But everything is there's a gray area with everything. So that's not what I was saying at all. So if anyone misunderstood, that was not what I was saying. Lisa Diane Hunt, he really hasn't talked much about his breakup with Jerome. Exactly. It's like he's just dismissed it. Now he's given the story of our lunch machine business well over 20 or 30 times since 2012 or so when we stopped being friends. And I've heard this, like he's told the story even when I was never speaking out. I was in my own world. For supposedly me to be the person that was bothered, he kept telling that story. Mainly, he was grooming his people for if we ever came out, because he he knew he had skeletons buried, so he was trying to get ahead of the story. But yes, so you notice with Darius, things he cares about, he will overshare, and he will share those stories multiple times. He's done it with the story with his mom, his dad, the made up stories with his grandma, all of that. But Jerome. And we'll see. I might have something for y'all, but we'll see. I like to surprise y'all, and I like to surprise y'all because sometimes things don't work out like like tonight. So I'm glad I didn't build up to that, and then y'all be like, "Where you at?" Like Alex didn't show up. Hey, you there says, was his mom's mom or his dad's? Was his mom's? Oh, that was his mother's. So that was his maternal grandmother. The one that we saw in the video. That was his maternal grandmother. Shawnee Mackey, thank you so much for the super chat. How has his followers reacted to your exposure? Exposés, I guess. Everything. I mean, some have called themselves trying to. Well, they never get to me. I've had some people try to say I was hating, jealous, bitter ex, all these other ridiculous things. But I don't know, just patting him on the back and agreeing with him and going blindly by whatever he says. That's been the bulk of it. Yeah. And then there have been people who have messaged me who didn't know and thanked me for that and, unsubscribed and all that. So it runs the gamut. It runs the gamut. And honestly, this ain't about his followers. I can care less. Like, they can all stay over there. I don't care. This is about the people who don't know, or the people like you who may be interested or once was a follower or was interested and didn't know. That's what this is for. I'm not trying to convert any of them. Some of them wake up eventually. I've had some get scammed after I came out when they didn't believe it. And then they got scammed and then they believed it. And then they came over, So it's just run the gamut. Lala, thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for all you do. Hand to the plow king. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. This is an assignment. This is a calling. So there's I will not stop until I am told to by our higher power. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is give ourselves a quick commercial break because we're already at the hour mark. Definitely not doing more than 2 hours. I don't know, y'all. It's late too. Do y'all want another hour? Because I can feel it. But just let me know. I'm going to give y'all a commercial break, and y'all let me know if y'all okay with one more hour. And I'll be back. Let me get a swig of water and all that good stuff.
5, 6, 7, 8. Why you gotta lie so much? You must wake up and just make up stuff. Cause I just do not understand why every time you talk, you tell a quick lie. You and your lies gotta go. Because I'm tired of talking to Pinocchio. Then you had a nerve to look folks in the eyes, knowing that you telling them lies. You been telling them lies. I asked you about this. Yeah, you lied about it. I asked you about that. Yeah, you lied about it. Get them lies together, they all over the place. I bet if Jesus came back, you a lie to his face. Damn, Pinocchio. Let's go, because I don't believe nothing you say at this point, because all you do is lie, 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 lie.
Hello. We are back. We are back from our commercial break. Hope you guys enjoyed that. As time progresses, I'm gonna keep tweaking it or whatever, but I love it. I love it. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to my YouTube channel and we're gonna watch the rest of that video as much as we get through live. I'm probably gonna cut it off at a certain point because of, I don't know, maybe I should. No, I'm gonna go ahead and play it because I want you guys to have visuals. That was another reason I went to the video and started. My idea was to go to the video because the rest of the topics that I have to talk about, I don't have the visuals, but visuals are in the video. Because there'll be people like, there ain't no receipts. Well, the receipts are in the video, so we're gonna live in the video until I can tighten it up for our next live. But there are some, the circus. That's the more current day stuff. I wanted to cover a couple of those things before we check out. So I'm probably going to do 30 minutes more of this, and then the last 30 minutes I'm going to jump to our more current day circus topics over there. Okay, so let me pull up our screen share. This is, that's the window we want. All right. Okay, let me full screen this for y'all. I want y'all seeing all my analytics. All right, so we're just going to continue. This is continuing from where we left off. From where we left off. Hopefully y'all can hear it and stuff, because I don't know. We've never done it this way. So let me see what I need to do. Hold on, y'all. I need to move y'all chat where I can see it because I just did full screen, which messes me up for y'all chat. This is why I like at home. I got 3 screens to work with. Okay. Give me a second. Give me a minute. Amateur at work. Amateur at work. Okay, here we go. Okay, good. Because now I can still see y'all live chat. Okay, let me know if y'all can hear this. Just say yes or we can hear.
At a grocery store one day. From Darius's account, it's pretty much like the mom met the stepfather at the grocery store, pretty much brought him home, and the guy moved in like immediately. And Darius has always described this as...
Can y'all hear that? I'm not saying nothing to say that yet. Okay, good. Thank you, Nicole Driver.
Things started to change with his relationship with his mom and his life in general. Darius has given many accounts to me personally, other friends, as well as on his IG lives, that his stepfather was very abusive emotionally, physically, and the stepfather was also homophobic. Darius speaks to some of the strain of his relationship with his mom being in connection with the fact that she did not protect him from this guy who came in the household and treated him really bad. Darius also tells the story of the time where his stepfather attacked him for one day wearing a pair of new gym shoes that his birth father had purchased for him. The stepfather told him not to wear the shoes. Darius went to his mom, and the mom said that he could wear the shoes. Darius wore the shoes to school, and when he returned home, the stepfather immediately noticed that he had on the new shoes that he told him not to wear. And when Darius said, well, my mom said that I could.
Hold on, y'all. Let me put this up real quick. So Renee Drakeford, I don't know if you're here for the right reason or not, says, Vale, please explain to me why you have so much content on Darius is coming off as scorn. I don't know. Well, hello. For one, this ain't all my content. This is stuff that I've gotten from other places because there are literally thousands of victims and hundreds of people who are keeping account of his scams. We have multiple platforms. We have a whole quick list of media who has covered him. Do not make this about me. If you want to promote a predator and try to make it about me, you are in the wrong place. So I'm gonna let you live right now. You're catching me on the day. I'm gonna let you live right now. But if you're not here for the right reason, if you are for predators, you're in the wrong space. All right, let's get back to our business, people.
Could wear it. The stepfather went into a rage and threw a high heel shoe at him, which hit him in his eye and put a gash right above his eye, which you can see to this day. Now, that story is pretty much the same version that I heard. I thought it was a different item years ago, but that could be just my memory because it's been so long. But you can definitely see the gash above his eye. And Darius has told that story to myself and many others, once again, including the IG Lives, where he tells everything. Now, from his account, when the stepfather threw the high heel shoe at him and he was bleeding, his mom just yelled to the stepfather, calling his name, and then took Darius to the bathroom and started to patch up his eye, but never did anything to his stepfather for doing that. Now, I'm a little foggy on the timeline and still trying to put together pieces of a lot of what's going on here. However, what I do know is that at some point, the stepfather did kick Darius out of their home. Darius's account is that the stepfather basically kicked him out because he was gay. However, at some point, the stepfather did put Darius out of the home in his teen years, and Darius ended up being homeless for a couple weeks. Now, I've always believed that story because of the fact that it has been consistent since the first time Darius told it to me nearly 20 years ago. And even when he tells the story today, those pieces never really change.
Okay, so update on that. After I did this video, weeks, months after, other people, because I'm not the only one involved in this at all. I go away, which I have at times taking breaks. This shit still continues, people. This shit still continues. So anyway, someone discovered his old blog. So Darius, before social media was what it is today with the video form, Darius has been in those chats and in those blogs for years, way back in the early 2000s. And so what they discovered was that Darius was journaling this whole time period of his life and what he was saying during this time period was a little different than the version he gives now. What he talked about, and again, we'll I don't know, I may or may not revisit this and go and find it, because again, I have, yes, like tens of thousands, like well over probably 20,000 different videos, articles, all kind of stuff, probably more than that, to be honest, on Darius Cooks, because people send it to me, because it's out there, not because I'm looking it all up, because I really don't care as much, but I want to share it. I want to share it because many of y'all ain't seeing this stuff or don't know this stuff. But anyway, in the version of the blog, maybe I'll put it in our VIP. That's what I can do. I can put it in our VIP community because you can read it. So I'll have to find it first, and I'll make myself a note so I don't forget. But anyway, in that blog, what you read is Darius talking about that time in his life. And what he was saying was that they wanted to charge him rent after he graduated high school. And Darius, he had a car at the time. I remember he had a little Neon, a Dodge Neon. I don't know if y'all remember that, but when I met him, he had that same car. It ended up getting repossessed, but he had that Dodge Neon. So he had a car, he had a car note. He was still living with them, but he was being charged rent. And why he got kicked out, per himself, is because he didn't want to pay rent or didn't have it or something. And so it wasn't just you're gay, get out of here. But, you know, again, he has to create the narratives which, you know, give him the sympathy, and it makes everyone forget about all of the scamming and everything else, the smoke and mirrors that's going on around him, so that, you know, he can be the victim, and all of his real victims can then be portrayed as the predators or the people with issues, aka the fool that I just addressed in our chat.
However, and not victim blaming at all, because I definitely do not advocate abuse on any level, which is the reason why I'm speaking up about what Darius is doing to people now, the predatory abuse. But now I do put into question Darius's complete version of why he may have gotten put out of his parents' home, because of the fact that I'm now seeing a cycle of Darius's version of stories always putting him in a victim position. And now knowing all of the schemes and crimes that have been committed over the years, and being able to look back even to when I knew him, now knowing things were happening that I was not privy to or aware of, and I met him at a fairly young age, makes me now say, were you doing some of those things when you were with your parents in their home? Were they your victim in some way? And was that the reason you got kicked out? Because it takes a lot for a parent, and even the mom backing that up. Generally, you know, it takes a lot for a parent to put their own child out of the home. And yes, people do get put out for being gay. However, they also get put out when the parent feels that they can't trust them because they're stealing from them or committing crimes in their homes. So I don't know, speculation, allegedly, all that good stuff, just based on what I'm learning and how many pieces of his life are coming to light, and it's showing that he's not who I thought he was or who he even presented himself to be at certain points in life. So I don't know, just a theory. We may find out. The only person that would really be able to help clear this up is his mother. Maybe she'll talk. Maybe she won't. We don't know. Nevertheless.
Okay, and so I just wanted to tap into that. So basically, it just reiterates what I said. And think about when I recorded this, I didn't know what I just told y'all about him having the blog journal out there of where he described that time in his life. And what we found out was there really was more to the story. And on top of that, that's still, even at that point in his life, when he was not a social media influence at all, no one knew who he was. He wasn't popping like that at all. He wasn't even cooking yet, you know, in the public way. Even way back then, that's his version. And what we know about people's version is his version, their version, and then the truth is somewhere in between. And so that makes me say that there's could have still been even what I was speculating at that moment. It could be also based on what we are learning and things I learned after the fact of some of the shady things he was doing. Even when we were together and dating, I learned shady things he was doing then that I was not privy to, but also things he had did to other people. And I knew people didn't like him, but I thought it was because he was obnoxious. I later learned it was because he was harming people even way back then, before he was a social media influencer. So yeah, so that makes me say there could have been a whole lot more to why he ended up getting put out. Because you just got to think about a parent putting their child out. It, you know, any of you who are parents know that they really have to take you to a place before that happens. Like that really has to be like it's a you or them kind of thing. Like, okay, this is where I draw the line, because at this point it's me that I'm sacrificing. So
at some point, his mom does marry his stepfather, and then she has his two younger siblings with the stepfather, which was his brother and his sister. And again, this is an area where I'm a little foggy on timelines, but if I remember correctly, his siblings are definitely much younger, maybe 10 years or so younger than he is. And I know as of today, they don't really have a relationship. But even back in the day when Darius and I were together and they were much younger, 5, 6 year olds or whatever they were, even then, Darius had a very shaky relationship with his siblings. I recall at times he would try to be the big brother. He would have them over for sleepovers, take them places, etc. And other times he would have various issues with them, even when they were children. And I can't really recall what those issues were now, but it was things that I do recall being like, you know, we can kind of push through those things. They are your siblings. But he didn't. And I have definitely heard accounts as of recent, with me learning what's happening present day in regards to him. I've definitely been hearing accounts of how Darius has gone on his social media platforms in front of tens of thousands of people and told his sister's business of having a miscarriage and basically just criticizing his siblings on a public platform, which isn't cool at all. So why him being able to expose the sensitivity of his sister having a miscarriage at a young age with his D-wives is amazing to me. How they let those sort of things slide and don't hold him accountable for not having tact or sensitivity or empathy during those times, because I'm sure many of them would not want him blasting that sort of information about them in front of, you know, tens of thousands of people. But, you know, he's perfect in their eyes. And then on second thought, I'm really not surprised when it comes to the D-wives and what they believe and allow to happen and fall for. And that's a whole nother video that is definitely coming, because that's a whole nother monster in and of itself, and the love bombing and all of those things. That's a psychological video.
okay, yeah. And that's still happening today with these D-wives. That video is still coming, I swear. Well, really, we're going to do a live stream on talking about the psychology of that cult. Yeah, we'll talk about that. I literally have been collecting and doing research on that and storing it for that video. So we'll do that live. But anyway, I'm seeing comments here about he was probably jealous of his siblings. Now looking back, based on, you know, with this new knowledge and looking back from what I can remember, I now can see that, yes, it probably was a level of jealousy. I do know that he was envious in the sense of they grew up, for the most part, in a 2-parent household, and he never did. So I remember when we met, his siblings, like I said, they were somewhere in 5 to 7 range, 5-year-olds to 7-year-old range, because my siblings were the same age. And so he and I had a similar situation where we were older siblings, and there was a more than a decade age difference. So for me, it was 15 years age difference between myself and my siblings. So that meant our relationship was totally different. I was more not only the big brother, it was almost like an additional father figure. And so that's the role I took with my siblings, and still to this day. Whereas him, it was jealous big brother. And so there were times where he would have them over, but I remember some of his complaints were like, oh, they're spoiled or this or that, or he would just be complaining. It was just like small things. And to this day, he does not have a real relationship with his siblings. Like I said, he exposed his sister's sensitive situation to his D-wives. I don't know why that needed to be announced publicly. He mentioned something about his brother. The last time he talked to his brother was, I want to say it's a couple years ago or something like that, where his brother asked him for some money, but it was like a small amount. I think it was $100, if that. And Darius gave it to him, and he was like, and that was the last time I talked to him. That is the kind of person he is. So supposedly you're a multimillionaire and you have siblings who are well more than a decade younger than you. And that's what siblings do. Like younger siblings, they're gonna probably ask for money. And as long as they don't have a drug problem or something, then it's kind of what you do, or they're not abusing it. And he don't talk to his brother, so obviously the brother ain't abusing asking for money. Why aren't you putting your brother on? Like, you're an entrepreneur with all of these businesses that obviously need support staff because you have none. That's why you got all this drama, partially, and on top of them being Ponzi schemes. But why not employ your brother, even virtually, to help with some of this stuff, or your sister? You have a nephew. He has a nephew, he might be anywhere between 3 to 5 years old at this point, and maybe have more than one. But I remember one for sure. He has a little nephew. You don't hear about these people. His mom is still alive and well. I know where they live, all of that stuff. And he has no relationship with them. Now, I can see him having issues with his mom because he felt like she always chose men over him. Like, that's a part I didn't mention in this video, that there was a history leading up to his stepfather where his mom had a history, from his version, a history of dating men. And like, she would be cool and they would be besties when she was single. But as soon as she met a man, he took a back seat. And so then the stepfather came, and this man never went away. They're divorced now, but he was around for a very long time. And so, yeah, Darius had an issue with it. And then I mentioned, and you can't even see it in this picture here of him behind me on the video, but he has a gash above his eye still to this day, from where he says his stepfather threw the high heel shoe at him. And he was telling that story years ago when I first met him. So I'm thinking there's, truth to that. And again, he still has, like, you could see it. It's above his left eye. So on some photos, you can still see it. Okay, so we're just going to keep playing. And like I said, we're going to do maybe like 10 more minutes of this, because this video is 42 minutes long, and we're not going to do that whole thing. And then I'll regroup for next week and figure out, how we're going to approach it.
That I feel is very important, so that some people can start to notice the signs of manipulation and how it occurs, even in a public platform, because it's very, very, very interesting. There's a lot of, layers to this situation here. But let's get back into his early life. So after being kicked out of his family home and becoming homeless, Darius ends up being taken in by Miss Tillery, who was a nice lady from his church, who happened to notice that something was up with Darius and he seemed to not have a place to go. And so she could see that he was hurting and in need. And she told him, after church, you come to my home. And she took him in at that point and even gave him his own bedroom in her home. And this is the same lady that last year on his social media platform, he posted when he purchased her a new car.
Merry Christmas.
Grandma! You lying, Darius. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh,
Now, one of the other inconsistent stories that
So I wanted to give a little bit more on Miss Tillery. So Miss Tillery is still a part of his life. I knew Miss Tillery back when Darius and I were, cool. Miss Tillery, the crazy part is where this was filmed or where she lives is like around the corner from my childhood home. So this is like, all of this stuff is very still close to my world. A lot of the people I met through him, I still know. We're still Facebook friends, and some of the people I see, some of them I still interact with, etc. So this is like, this ain't some distant situation with some ex who came in and left out the door. This is like literally a decade-long friendship that was like a brotherhood that ended because one person was a predator and a scammer. And it's not just me. I'm the only one with a YouTube channel. That's the difference. That's why it may look a certain way to some people, because I'm the only one with the YouTube channel and the ability to share the story. And the other people are everyday folk who don't want to be bothered with everybody knowing who they are and coming on and interviewing and all of that for people's ish and giggles. So it's just the truth of the matter. I talk to people all of the time who were affected by Darius in Chicago, who were very close to him as well in different ways. And, you know, they chat with me. I've had breakfast with some of them or lunch and all of that. And it's just, they don't want no smoke. So it ain't just Lavelle in Chicago. But anyway, Miss Tillery is still around. And so much so that Miss Tillery was on his live earlier this year, I think it was, where she was encouraging him to just kind of let it go and not get grimy, etc. She called us fools, the people exposing him. And I get it. She's an older lady. She's not aware of what Darius has done to her because, she's not aware of what Darius has done to other people because to her, he is still that teenage boy who she took in when he was homeless from church and tried to help. And now he's become, you know, a public figure of sorts. And so she's looking at it like he tries to present it to everyone who will believe him. Like, oh, it's because I'm so successful. Now I have a bunch of haters because haters come with success. No, because there are way more people that are way more successful than you are. And they don't have these scandals on this level. This is because you created this. And now it has caught up to you. But anyway, she is a I wanted to say like a calming force in his life or wise counsel. The problem is he doesn't listen because she literally was like, Darius, leave it alone, et cetera, et cetera. And he's like, I hear you, but what I'm about to do is I'm a drag them. I got to do, you know, this blah, blah, blah. So he was talking like he was just going to really come out with some stuff and dragging. And all he did was end up doxing people through bots that he has. So for those of you who don't know, it's like fake accounts you create so that you can do things on the internet that are slimy, scammy, and people won't know it's you because it's a whole different profile and all of that. So that's all he did. But and then lied when he did you know, a couple lives. We may cover some of those. But anyway, just letting you know, Miss Tillery is still around. I think the reason she's still around, and there's another older lady too. They were friends with his grandmother for one, but the other reason is because they don't challenge him in a real way. They'll state their opinions, but they don't challenge him. And that's key with Darius. You see this with his IG lives, and I'm seeing comments about maybe something he's doing tonight with someone who's missing an order and all that. This is still happening, but we're over here lying, but it's literally happening in real time on his platform while we're talking about how we got there in the first place. It's crazy. And I'm being questioned. My motives are being questioned. Foolishness. But anyway, I just wanted to say, with Darius, anyone who challenges him, and you see that in his lives, when someone asks about an order or is asking, hey, why do you just have so many scamming accusations? Or what? Kimika is saying, yes, it just happened. So literally in real time, while we're over here doing the retrospective of how we even got there, it's just happening in real time. No lies being told over here, people. No lies being told. Come here when you want to really understand what's happening and stop looking through rose-colored glasses. But anyway, so enough with that Miss Tillery thing. But anyway, she's still around. You know, she gives him wise counsel, but they don't really hold him. They don't challenge him. And if you challenge him, as he feels like when a customer has an issue and ask anything, you guys see this stuff. Those of you who follow, anytime someone asks him something, he would ask him something in a challenging way, like why don't you do, or correcting him or constructive criticism. He's going to go on the attack. He cannot take that. That is what I didn't know about him, because the truth is I hadn't challenged him in nearly a decade of friendship until we became business partners. And I'm like, my money's involved, and now you want me to be involved. So now I have questions, or now I have a suggestion, or don't necessarily agree with your idea of customers only being able to contact you. That was one thing we got into it with him about, me and the other business partner. He wanted to create a phone number that only he had access to. And it's like, no, we want the customers to be able to call a central number that all of us can assist them. Well, now I know it's because he didn't plan on assisting the customers. He wanted to scam the hell out of them, even way back then. And we were about real customers. Both me and the other business partner to this day, well, me not so much because I'm social media now, but my last job at least, to this day, we still worked in client services. And that person is a regional director of customer service for a huge company. And so that's our world. And he didn't want to do that. And that was the first time I started to see, like, oh, he pushing back hard, and he's offended, like we were, I don't know, like it was something crazy that we were asking for. It was crazy. But that is when the whole thing started to take a turn. But we'll talk about that when I talk about more about that whole business. I'm gonna play the next little piece, and then we're gonna move into present day stuff. Besides what y'all over there, some of y'all watching both at the same time, and y'all seeing the foolishness at the circus.
I've heard people questioning is Darius's claims that he was in foster care, which when I first heard it sounded extremely foreign to me, because I had never ever heard him mention anything about foster care. And from every account that I knew and the people around me knew, he went from being at his mom's house to being with Miss Tillery, being taken in. And that was not a foster care situation. These were people who took him in basically to get him through his last year or so of high school. And so I did actually question people who I still know, who we both know in common, to try to get clarity and just see, like, was I out of the loop on that? Which I doubt it. But he was not officially in foster care. And I think he may have taken that liberty of calling it a foster care situation, or that he was in foster care, to gain more sympathy, which is his MO in general. Like, there are many, many other occasions where we see him, make overstatements or even just make up things in order to garner some sympathy from his followers. It is what it is. That's what he does. Now, Darius was definitely what we would.
Just a little disclaimer on that piece of it. There's some confusion now for me with the whole foster care thing. If it existed on any level, or if it was like, they'll do short-term placement for foster care. And it was like after this happened, and although I tried to confirm with people who knew him very well, grew up with him as well before I did this video, because I'm like, I don't remember this. And people were saying he's talking about foster care. But then after I did the video and said what I said, that was a complete lie. Then I was starting to, in the back of my head, like, do I vaguely remember him saying something about somebody with foster care? But I don't know if it's the Miss Tillery taking him in and him using that as calling it foster care when it wasn't official at all. He was kicked out of his house, and Miss Hillary opened up her doors for him. So I'm not 100% sure. So I'll just give that disclaimer. I'm not 100% sure on that part.
Call a church boy, and his roots were definitely, as a child, deeply embedded in the missionary Baptist church world, which actually runs through his veins.
Oh, just pausing. I told y'all I was going to pause when I felt like it. But the Mars Hill Baptist Church that you see there on the screen was his childhood church. It's not just some random church I picked out. That's literally his childhood church on the west side of Chicago. It's no longer that church. Some other place bought it out or whatever. So his church is no longer, well, I think they're online only or something. But yeah, so this was his childhood church. And actually, like little fun fact, I went to private school at this place as well, and it was horrible, and they were abusive to children. But we can talk about that later on Patreon.
And so deeply that he was actually able to get away for many years with the lie that he had actually graduated with a degree in biblical studies from the Moody Bible Institute. And he was able to get away with the lie because of the fact that he knows so much about the church and quite a bit about the Bible. However, recently it was proven to be a lie by Angela Davis, aka the Kitchenista, when the college responded that Darius Williams had in fact never attended their college.
Okay, so another disclaimer and correction. That part is true. The college did respond. He freaking lied and has been lying for years. about attending Moody Bible Institute. The part that was incorrect was I was under the impression that it was the kitchenista who did this research and found out this, but it was not. It was another, again, because there are hundreds of people over this time period who've been involved in this. It was another person who had researched and got this information. They reached out. So for those of you who don't know, Darius claims that he has a theology degree from the Moody Bible Institute. And I think he's talked about, he talked about being a youth pastor. I know I caught a live where he said that. A youth pastor and all this stuff in New Jersey or something. That part, to our knowledge, is actually true. But it looks like he got that job lying about having a theology degree. Darius is very, again, as I stated in here, very well versed in the church because he was a church kid, like a real true church kid. And he soaks up stuff. He's really smart and he soaks up stuff like a sponge. And so he learned to emulate a pastor and ministers, and he knows the Bible pretty well and all of that. And so he used that to his advantage. He's a grifter. He's a grifter and a con artist and a snake oil salesman. So he used all of that to come up with this. And so someone reached out to confirm, like, do this dude really have a theology degree? And as you see here, this is literally the actual response from the Moody Bible Institute. And they are saying, thank you for, my screen has got some of the words covered up, but thank you for contacting us. I have looked into whether Darius Williams attended Moody, and no one by that name graduated from Moody Bible Institute in the last 30 years. So we can't say, oh no, they looked at the wrong year. 30 years. He would have to be 10 years old for this to miss him. Is it possible he would have attended by another name? With him, it might be possible. If not, it's then safe to say he did not graduate from Moody. Thank you. I think I'm going to end this part of it on that. But this is how far he goes to create this narrative. And to this day, last I heard at least, because it was after this came out, not my video, but like this information came out, he was still claiming that same story. And the crazy part, and I wish I had to pull that clip today, the clip where he says the issue with Chef Carmen lying is how you gonna have people follow you. And he was like, over here, I'm transparent down. And so how would you feel if I lied to y'all and about, having my car paid off and, what else he said? Oh, and owning my warehouse and all of this other, or having a warehouse and all of this. But dude, you've lied not only down, because let's go ahead and start keeping a tally, people. Y'all remember this for our next lives moving forward. Y'all start keeping tally of this for me, because I'm only one man and I can't keep count all this. It's too much. But so far, the big lies that we do know of, that we've been able to prove, is we're like solid receipts. The Freshco scam in Chicago, the business that he lied to Black Enterprise, Kia Morgan Smith, the digital editor-in-chief over there. He lied to her saying he never knew anything about that business, never owned a business called Freshco. We know that to be a lie. Lie number two that we can say now is way more, but let's work with what we got right here in front of us. Claims that he has a theology degree from the Moody Bible Institute. They have looked up their records, the Alumni Association, and there's no record of him ever attending that school. That's lie number two. Big lie number two. But he's transparency down. All right. So let's get back to the circus. So I'm going to move over. I was going to do, let me do, I do need a little, let me see. Let me give y'all a little bit of a commercial break just for my voice and stuff, y'all. Okay, hold on, y'all. I need to add more clips so it's easy to work with. All right.
It doesn't matter what you want. I will succeed, whether you like it or not. I am unstoppable. When will you learn that? When will stop. When will you learn?
Again, Mr. Williams, I invite you to conversate with me directly. I don't do all this internet stuff. The problem is you're going after my family, you post my children, and then you mention my name. So you and I, we need to have a conversation. And yes, this is a forever problem.
I declare.
All right, I'm back. I'm sitting there reading comments, and I should have been running to the restroom. Then it hit me. I was like, "Oh Lord, I need to be using the restroom." I almost thought I wasn't gonna get back in time. What did I? Oh, this one I wanted to read. Hey, you there says, "Oh, it was alumni. He might have attended, but not graduated with a degree." What he claims, because that's what we're going by. He never said I attended. He said he graduated and has a theology degree. So I know some people are going to want to do this because this is what I constantly have been seeing for the past 2 years that people have been exposing him publicly in the media. This ish ain't misunderstandings. It ain't. Y'all getting me on the wrong night. So ridiculous. And who is that? Because I'm not. I know I've read a few comments from that person, but I'm reading a lot of comments, so I don't know if I should be tallying in my mind whether they should still have access. Just Ebbs says, "Yes, please. I'm writing a paper, and this is helping me pass the time." This was when I asked about doing the additional hour. And when I saw your comment, I think I started this. When I saw your comment, Just Ebbs, I'm like, how you writing a paper and watching me? I mean, I appreciate it, but me, I would have to turn off everything. Like maybe some music I could have on, but I can't have anything visual. But I appreciate you for letting me keep you company during your paper. Just Jay says, "Hey, I am cringing. He is on live telling this woman he can't help her because her order already processed." Yeah, I mean, that's the norm as well. He doesn't have any delay. You know, I was thinking the other day because I ordered custom blinds for the house. And so what I noticed when I ordered the custom blinds, like it was an online website. And when I ordered the custom blinds, you know, you put in your custom sizes and all of that, it gives you 24 hours to confirm, like time to confirm. You got 24 hours before it actually gets processed before, and you can still make changes. Here's the thing about him. He's not shipping out that stuff within even 24 hours, 99% of the time. And so the truth is he doesn't want to be bothered with having to get anything straightened out or redoing anything because he does not have support staff. This is the craziest thing that the people who make excuses for him and come over here and make excuses for him versus going over there and holding him accountable, which you only get them blocked. The truth is, if the mass of his followers would hold him accountable, he would correct on some level, which he does. Honestly, what you will see from time to time when there's big public attention on him, he all of a sudden is doing that might be what he's doing tonight. I don't know, y'all. But if he might be doing those customer service lives, stupid shit, customer service lives where all of a sudden he's trying to fix everything. He's, "Oh, I got you, sis. What's your order number, sis?" And all that other foolishness. Playing the role like, no, I handle the business of customer service and stuff, you know, and nobody has problems. Logically, it doesn't make sense that one person can run. At one point, it was the bakery, the Carolina pound cake. You got to keep in mind he does his social media. That's work. That's what I'm doing over here. That is work. It's real work. It's a full-time job to do this stuff. Then you got he had the cookware line with the warehouse. You had it's something else he was doing. Oh, the dining with Darius. So that's 4, and this other stuff. Four businesses. How are you keeping all of these aligned and you getting all your cake orders out correctly? All the cakes are quality. people are getting their issues addressed. All the cookware is going out. All the book orders are going out correctly. You're managing the day laborers you hire at the warehouse, because he won't hire real employees who could then learn the work and have it done with perfection and really take ownership of it. He doesn't have a business manager to handle these multiple business. Kendi got Don Juan. When you got that many businesses, you have to have a Don Juan to be able to let you know what's really happening within each of those businesses. There is no way. He is not Superman. He is not a god. There is no way that one man can run that many businesses successfully and accurately and not be scamming people because they're not getting their stuff. And that's how people get scammed, because he like, whatever with that, I'm moved on. He's told people in his lives, I've seen people complaining about their orders or asking statuses of their orders that are overdue by months. I'm trying to find out what's happening with my order. You see, I'm at my Dining with Darius event. Do it look like I'm dealing with orders right now? What? That's why you got to have somebody at the warehouse who deals with orders. You have to have a customer service person. Why that doesn't make sense to any of them? And then we lying? Like, no, he's still running his businesses with perfection, with all that he claims to have on his plate, or the stuff we do know that's on his plate. But all this a lie. People making it up. Oh no, this is all just the post office. Thank you, Marianne Coker. Just the post office. The post office got hundreds of thousands of employees. They the problem. What? Don't kill me. All right, I'm gonna do a couple more comments, and then we're gonna move to the new stuff real quick, because I don't want to go over time. We're gonna go over time a little bit, and if you can't hang, I understand. Maybe I'll clip some of this into smaller clips for those who don't want to watch 2 hours plus of stuff. Just Jay says, this is crazy. He is still explaining the shipping. Right. I don't get it, because I am a person who orders a lot of ish. Like sometimes I have stuff coming daily for like 2 or 3 weeks straight. I don't have these sort of issues. The biggest issue I've ever had is when the United States Post Office, I hate when they are shipping my stuff, which is why as a business owner, I would not use them as my only source, because they're just sloppy. Like, they won't deliver stuff. I had a water cooler ordered once, and it was light as hell, but they wouldn't deliver it to my house. I had to go to the post office. I'm like, now all this stuff, I done got way heavier stuff delivered to my house. Y'all won't bring the water cooler. So I'm like, okay, it must be really big. I go get my truck and everything, go to the post office. The damn thing, I asked them for their dolly. I'm just thinking it's all heavy. I lifted up, put it in my truck. I was like, you gotta effing be kidding me. Ain't no way they even tried to pick this thing up, because it wasn't even a good 15 pounds. But anyway, why would you use a service that is if all of this was the USPS, which is not, all of it is not, but let's say that it was, why are you still using them? If it's causing you this much drama in your business, and even if it's, because they don't really care, that's the truth, but even if it was only affecting your customers and not you and your bottom line, wouldn't you care enough about your customers who actually are your supporters and followers? These aren't just arbitrary people in the world who happen to see a website and order something randomly. These are literally people who are supporting you, like you guys support me. I don't look at this as you're just some random people. So when we start getting our t-shirts and merch and all of that stuff, I care. That's why I'm doing so much research before I pick a company, because I don't want y'all having problems, because y'all my people. Y'all not just random. Even if y'all was random, I still would care, because I care about customer service. Like, you paid, you got to get what you paid for. I don't know why that's so hard for people to understand. And don't treat people like ish when they sacrifice to support you. That's just, you're not a good human being when you do that, just to me. We talked about that. Wait, the wee. Yes, the 3 inches of sadness is what I coined it from. Let me move on. I'm being too bad. Riri Drakeford, Vale, please explain to me why you have so much content. How the hell did that stay? I hope Riri gone. Bye, Riri. Rita St. Rose, at this point, he is toxic as hell. at this point, like that point happened a long time ago. that point happened. Well, I realized that point happened back in 2010 or so. When I was like, "Ooh, you're toxic. This is bad." Was he jealous of his younger self? Yeah, I think I covered that. Yes, I truly believe that now, knowing what I know now. Don Smart, they probably don't say anything to Darius, the sisters, because they know he'll probably go on and on about it on social media. I think you might mean his siblings. He has a brother and a sister, one of each. They don't have a relationship based on what he said. What I knew, based on what I knew the last time we interacted, which was now about a decade ago, even though he tries to make it like 50. You'll notice, those of y'all who pay attention to how our timeline of the last time we communicate, he keeps adding numbers to it. So now he's at 15 plus years. And I'm like, dude, it ain't been 15 years. I know you want to make it seem really far away. So it seems like this is so ridiculous that he would say anything. No, it's been, we're at a decade now, I think. But anyway, the last time that I back then was friends with Darius, he did not have a relationship with his siblings like that at all. It was like sporadic communication and stuff. I never got my cookbook, and I never ordered from him again, and I got my bank to remove the charge. Exactly. Thank you so much for that, Lisa Diane Hunt, because that is what has happened probably 75 to 80% of the time. And that is why a lot of people don't go as far as to expose him. Or I see the crazy comments of why he ain't been sued and all of this. He has been, for one, he has been sued for other things. But most times people are able to get the charges reversed from their bank. So they're not finna do all of that for, go through small claims court for a $50 cookbook, or even, $200 or $300 at a Dining with Darius event. From those people who got scammed from that. Most of them got their money back too, either from their bank or Eventbrite, which I told you he owed them $90-something thousand. And that is why he does all of his own sales. You notice he used Shopify, because that's a whole platform that you can do your e-commerce through and control all the pieces. But Eventbrite and places like that are the easiest because they have all of the systems in place, and it makes it pretty much click a button and everything's happening. He can't use those systems though, because he has defrauded them, and so he's banned. So people might say, why is everything so complicated with him? Because he has to do it on his own, because when he had those other services, Groupon, Eventbrite, Amazon, he scammed. They kicked him off those platforms, banned him from those platforms. That is why. He'll say, I don't have no middleman. I do this because I get all the money. Ninja, you lying. You got kicked off those platforms. So this is not by choice. This is by force. Michelle Duncan says, here is my issue with this man. He's a CEO, yet he's in charge of everything, to include sending out products. Does Jeff Bezos drive the Amazon truck? Elon Musk isn't building them cars, or on Twitter, blocking and handling those comments, those tweets. Exactly. I literally just said that. So your comment probably came before around that time. Exactly. But we're making this up, and there aren't as many people being scammed as people are saying. This is all made up. It's not true. Woo, those people. But again, that's why we need to do, we're going to do our live eventually. We're going to get through these stories first, and then we'll turn our sights on dissecting that cult over there and how people fall in love, so in love with a predator who, it's plenty of proof that the dude is just lying. Andrea says, he called me a miserable devil one time when I called him out. Right. You're the problem. You're the problem for speaking out. You're the devil. You're the hater. It ain't got nothing to do with him creating that situation. But you see that what he did to you, the comment that he made towards you. And I'm glad you said that, because you just reminded me of something I had. Oh, I hope I can find it easily. But That's what he does. He becomes the victim. That's how he plays it. Let me see. This might. Oh yeah, I think this was what. Okay, well let me, because I'm about to jump over my notes over here. Okay, so we got the circus. Let me get this to y'all one more time, just because. Oh, that's the wrong one. Hold on. No, we'll just do this part of it. Give me a second.
5, 6, 7, 8. Why you gotta lie so much? You must wake up and just make up stuff. Cause I just do not understand why. Every time you talk, you tell a quick lie. You and your lies gotta go. Because I'm tired of talking to Pinocchio. Then you had a nerve to look folks in the eyes. Knowing that you telling them lies. You be telling them lies. I asked you about this. Yeah, you lied about it. I asked you about that. Yeah, you lied about it. Get them lies together, they all over the place. I bet if Jesus came back, you a lie to his face. Damn, P-O-G-O. I guess you wanna see how far your nose can grow. I said P-No-G-O. I guess you wanna see how far your nose can grow. Now, boo! Let's go. Start telling all them lies, number one. Let's go. Cause I don't believe that you say at this point. Cause all you do is lie, lie, lie. Lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie.
I gotta have that part in there. Mama! Oh my God, that's one of the t-shirts, y'all. Oh, that just hit me. That's one of our t-shirts. That's coming. Mama! Y'all so silly. Why y'all so silly? Okay, so let me see. Jesus, this is gonna be hard because I couldn't label everything. I told y'all. Amateur at work. I'm only one man. Wait, I did label it. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. Trying to find our first piece for our All You Do Is La 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 segment. I was calling it the circus, but maybe I'm calling it All You Do Is La 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 segment. I like how when things just kind of come together and work out. Now I know I labeled it. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, so one of the first things in our All You Do Is La 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 segment was someone. Oh, I don't even think that's the clearest one. It ain't. Jesus. Hold on, y'all. That ain't the clear one. That's the person's comment. So this is from. Here it is. This is from Twitter. Well, this is actually from Darius's IG Live. And someone on Twitter saved it. Or screenshot it. And so this is one of his users, because these people are just, you know what, sometimes it's people who just truly don't know what's happening. And sometimes it's, delusional people like Riri, who was up in here. And so this person says, my church group discussed booking the Dallas date in 2023, but read some troubling things lately. Are you going to do an interview about these crazy rumors? These crazy rumors, crazy truths? I don't know what happened, like if he actually answered it, but this is just giving you guys an insight into why I even continue to do this, because that's only some days old or whatever, last week sometime, that there are still people who think he has never addressed it, think this is new, don't know what I'm telling y'all, don't know what others have been saying. And I try to give him the benefit of the doubt or whatever. The truth is, what I always am slightly confused by is that, do you expect him to say it's all true, like in a sincere way? Because he has called himself a scammer. Like, well, y'all know I scam. Like he does that sarcastically, but telling the truth at the same time. But do people really expect the criminal to confess when he knows that it would make his whole scampire come tumbling down? What else would he say besides it's not true, it's a lie? Hello? And so they take it like, no, he said that this he's never said he graduated from Moody Bible Institute. I don't think, like, why would he say I lied about the Fresco scam? I lied about the Moody Bible Institute. I lied about, the bakery being illegal. Like, why would he admit to those things? So the person who posted this says, all I gotta say is I hope the sisters use their discernment. I'm quite sure he overlooked that question. Yeah, he probably did. Because it seemed like it was coming from a sincere place. So I'm sure he ignored that. Other times he'll block him depending on how he feels. TJ Diamond says, I don't get it. I don't get people and what they think. Yeah. Oh, okay. So this next one I had, let me see if I labeled. Did I label this? I think this is. I didn't label it, but here, serving Jiffy cornbread. He uses Bisquick though. Giving y'all a secret because he doesn't like Jiffy. I did use Jiffy, but I still use Jiffy. I ain't gonna front on y'all. I still use Jiffy because I ain't never made homemade cornbread. I made homemade cakes, but he uses Bisquick. Just so y'all know. Well, he used to. I don't know what the hell he's doing now. Okay, so someone, a moderator, if you take that comment down for a minute. Someone says Darius T, and that one too, and that one too, and so maybe there's a glitch happening. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Someone is saying at there. So this is on Twitter. They're saying, good point. How are you not going to honor coupons? LOL. And then he says, I say ill her or punch her in the face. LOL. Nah, don't do that. I'm just kidding. Kinda. So this is the kind of comments. This is his behavior on social media. And this is the other piece that I noticed. Many of his followers, because they're, older women, etc., they don't be on social media like that. They may be in tuned enough to follow him on YouTube or on Facebook, maybe Instagram, maybe watching the lives and stuff, but they don't see his daily antics in these comments. How he really behaves that show his real colors unfiltered. He's unfiltered on his lives as well, but this is just different. It's grimier. Well, I don't know. It's more pitiful. No, it's grimy too. Here's another thing that he's been called out for because, and I meant to mention this when we were doing the Black Enterprise article and we were talking about, he was mentioning how people were saying that it was the Larry Reid Live interview he did as well, which we'll dissect that at some point, where he talked about people saying that he attacked women, that he was doing the R word to women. What Darius was doing, which is what he always does, is twisting the facts and creating his narrative, as he says he does. Because no one has ever called him the R wordist. What they were commenting on was his multiple times that he's been very insensitive to women in regards to that and made very hurtful comments on social media in tweets and stuff. So this is one where he says, personally, I don't believe it. Nope, sure don't. And then someone comments, how many more women would have to come forward for you to believe Bill Cosby is a R-wordist? He says, Darius says, Shonda is freaking genius. She wove this Bill Cosby R-word story into the show. She major balls. I guess she has major balls. And he says, Crooks says, that's it. I must tell the truth. Bill Cosby, R-word me too. So this was one of them. And so this is telling you, so he's joking with this. Who jokes with that word? Who jokes about that? And your primary followers are women. And unfortunately, because of the horrible world we live in, some of those women have unfortunately experienced that. So that's nothing to joke about. On top of that, there's a comment that I didn't pull up here, don't have here, where he also tweeted, he was driving one night and he said, yeah, I'm driving and I'm seeing this woman jogging at night. And he was like, this is how women come up R-worded. So is a woman's fault for being out at night? If she's out at night, she deserves to be R-worded? We have this. We have this. I don't have it handy, but it's out there. Actually, it's probably on Reddit or yeah, it's out there. It's these tweets are this is not nothing I'm making up at all. So again, that's how he got accused of joking and taking the R word lightly. No one ever called him that, but he twisted it because this is real and this is like you're a horrible person. So he got to make this part get confused. People who don't know about it, because everybody ain't reading this, everybody ain't paying no attention to all these receipts we got. So now I'm going to conflate it and change the narrative to they calling me a R word is I'm a gay man. So now his followers can be like, as much tongue popping and girl this and all the stuff you do, the faggotry you do online, and they're calling you an R wordist to about women. No one has ever said that. They're talking about how he jokes about it. Anyway, that was all you do is lie. That was one of our other topics for this segment. Actually, I added that one in. That wasn't even on the list today. And then we have this one. This one has gotten to me a couple times. Yes, Darius definitely has mommy issues and women issues as a whole. When people say that Darius truly doesn't like black women, it's true. It's true. He uses black women and he has black women as friends. And if you look at all of those relationships, he's using them in some way. And if you look at those relationships, when he's done with them, he treats them horribly, aka Chef Carmen. So this was the other thing. So these are more recent. So Darius on a couple occasions has mentioned, because he's trying to supposedly get this house in, he's trying to get this house in Florida or whatever. That's where he's trying to move his next scampire to. And he's saying that he can't buy a house. He can't get a mortgage because he's an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs cannot get mortgages. This is Darius saying this, not Darius Cooks saying this. Darius Cooks saying this, not me, because as an entrepreneur, I've bought multiple homes. And I'm like, but this is the part that kills me, is that he gets online, says these idiotic things, and says it with such charisma that these people buy it who don't know no better. And what trips me out is the ones who do know better don't call him out on it. And they like, he wrong, but I ain't said nothing. So anyway, he once again repeats this lie. He said it a few months ago, and I was just, as I was watching, I was like frowned up just like I am now. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I would not have homes if you had to be an entrepreneur to buy houses. Like, you have to file your taxes properly. And so anyway, so let's get into his little clip on that. And then there's a response from a professional who's a very wealthy person who some of you will recognize, who was also owned a mortgage company, et cetera, et cetera. So she actually wasn't talking about him at all. It just so happened I was watching her video last night and was like, this lines up with what that fool was just talking about. And this bans that lie. So I want y'all to know better, for those of you who may have caught that and not know no better. Right, Tish W says you can't get a mortgage if you can't get a mortgage if you're a scammer. Exactly. Okay, let's get into this foolishness.
So I don't qualify for a mortgage, and it doesn't make sense for me to attempt to get a mortgage because, like, I'm not getting ready to spend money just to use your money. Like, it don't make sense. Like, it don't make sense for me. The way I would have to qualify for a mortgage is like this. First of all, the numbers would have to be reworked so that I show more disposable income and a buffer of disposable income. In order to show income, that has to come from somewhere. Where's it coming from? The deductions that were already taken. Well, if I'm increasing income and debiting deductions, what that means is that I owe taxes now because my taxable income has increased. If my taxable income has increased and I owe taxes from a particular time period, I have to go back and then not only pay the principal, but I have to pay the penalty and the interest from the time period of when the taxable wages would have increased. I have to show record of paying that off first just to qualify for a mortgage and I have to pay you principal. No, I have to pay you interest compounding on a mortgage that doesn't start to have the principal until some year. It don't make sense. It's a scam. Okay, I know you call me a scammer, but that is a scam, right? I would much rather be in a position where I'm out of as little money as possible, right? Done.
All right. So yes, so that's what he said, and I didn't want this to pop up so quickly. I should have gave a longer break between the clips. But anyway, this is going to be the response from Auntie Buffy. This is Buffy she did one season on Married to Medicine, and she didn't have a great experience on there, so she gets on here dragging them sometimes. But she actually is a very successful. Like, she comes from a family with generational wealth, but she's also a very successful. I think she does this financial. She used to own a mortgage company and some other stuff. I can't remember off the top of my head now. But anyway, she knows finance, and that's part of what she does on her channel as well, is educate people on that. But the foolishness, if you really listen to what because he tells on himself too, what he's saying is that he cannot get a mortgage because the way he files his taxes is the reason he can't get a mortgage, because he zeroes out everything. So he deducts everything. So he tells the IRS that at the end of the year, he's literally spent every dime he's made. But you're a multi-millionaire. How you spend like all your money? Like nothing left. You have no savings. So he's probably, no, but he buys these houses in his name. But anyway, he's buying his house because I saw somebody say, well, how did he get his first house or whatever? He's actually has two houses. Well, had two houses. One, the Atlanta one he bought, and then he bought one in Houston that just, from what people know, sits vacant, which makes no sense. I don't even know if he Airbnb. He don't have no business manager or anything, so I don't even think he Airbnbs it because he can't handle all that. But anyway, what he does, and that's why he's trying to, sell all these products for the holiday. His plan is to use this money, this windfall, as money to buy his new house. So that's what he does. He pays. Well, the first house he got a mortgage on. Oh, and that's what he said in some other video. He said he was able to get the first house because within 2 years he had worked in corporate America. So he's probably able to fudge some check stuff. So he was able to prove W-2s from then. And then, he had whatever he had going on financially from the being an online influencer or whatever. But now, so with the Houston house, he paid cash because that was like $200,000 or whatever it was. And so now he's trying to buy the Florida house. And so he's going to be using the money and actually it's the whole thing. I was starting to get into some tax thinking and talking. But anyway, so this is Buffy's response. Right, Don Smart. The math ain't mathing, but it never does with him at all. So this is Auntie Buffy not responding to Darius Cooks, but giving general financial advice when it comes to this topic.
I'm hoping that it's not a situation where Kim and Croy bought that house cash for the $880,000, because that would be a problem. Never ever do that, y'all. Auntie Buffy would be very angry with y'all. Even Jay-Z and Beyonce got a loan on their compound. Their house, they bought their compounds $80 million. They took a loan out for $50 million, which was genius because they've got smart business managers. Because you can take that $30 million that you were going to add to that 50, and you could put that money in the markets, and it can make you enough money in the markets to pay the mortgage on the $50 million house. So your money is working for you, not the other way around. It's not smart to sink a whole bunch of money in a house. Yes, houses are appreciating assets and all that, and that's great. But really, you can make more money putting your money in the markets. So I'm always about leveraging cheap debt. So if you get a low interest rate, do it every time.
I just added that in on the tail end, like randomly, because it's like him finding out, Mama, finding out, I'm fucking him again. So yeah, I pretty much covered that topic. So please don't be taking no financial advice from a scammer, a known scammer. So the last thing we have, we're a few minutes over our 2 hours, but the last thing we have is it has hired, to my knowledge, from what I'm figuring out, he's hired additional chefs for the 2023 Dining with Darius. Kind of crazy because he didn't sell out and he's discounted the tickets $100. So I'm like, because those prices, if he discounted 100, is less than the year before, I think. Yep, less than the 2022 tickets, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Some of y'all know. But anyway, he now has hired new chefs and he's, already telling their business and all of that, which is just crazy. And this is crazy because I'm like, this is a huge HR failure. So this is Darius claims, another claim of his, is that he was an HR director. Now, when I knew him, he worked in payroll. Now, he's literally, since I met him when he was 20 years old, always worked in payroll processing, not HR, because they're different. They sometimes, depending on the company, they may be within the same function or duties or whatever, but he was not HR. He was payroll processing. So he worked at ADP, he worked at Sure Payroll. Actually, that was on here too. That was the one he was fired from for creating a fake payroll company, which is what I planned to talk to y'all about and I kind of forgot. But anyway, we'll get to that next time. The fake payroll company that he created and tried to steal clients from Deluxe Payroll, where he worked from. No, Sure Payroll, I'm sorry, that he worked for. And then he got fired from there and ended up evicted. And that's how he lost that Dodge Neon that I was telling y'all about. Whole thing. I told you I know a lot. But anyway, this dude, Darius Cooks, claims to have all of this wealth of experience with HR, which makes no sense because he never went to college. And like I said, I knew him up until he escaped to New York. And then he claims when he got to New York, he ended up with an HR director job within 4 days of getting there. That part don't even make sense because HR director jobs, they put you through a lot more than a 4-day process. Gotta pay attention to the context clues, people. But anyway, so again, he claims to have this level of experience in HR, but this is what he does. And y'all let me know what y'all think. Here we go.
Are they a part of the interview process? Why would they be? At your job, when it's time to hire a new associate, and you're not a manager, or you're not in leadership, do you be interviewing the new hires?
And do me a favor, try not to say his name.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, because I'm live on what you call it. I'm gonna introduce you, and then I'm gonna can you hear us? Oh no, it says connecting to audio.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, I am going on mute, and
okay, so this actually was not the clip I was trying to play. Well, it's really the first clip, but I just realized the one I want y'all to really see. I didn't pull it in. I'm gonna do that in a second. I'm gonna give y'all a commercial break while I do that because I do want y'all to see that. But when he's hiring people for this circus, he does his interviews on his Instagram Live most of the time. And so he has his friends, like regular friends, from what I read in the tweet with that, he had his realtor, I think that was his realtor friend. Y'all correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but I think that was his realtor friend played HR hiring manager or whatever. And she was interviewing one of the chefs, one of the potential chefs. And he does this while a few hundred people listen to it on his IG Live. That's cringy to me. It's cringy. Like, you don't have to have everything. Well, he doesn't have everything on Instagram Live. He has what he wants to expose with other people on there and what he wants to give to make it seem as though he's exposing himself or being transparent down. He'll put that out there, but I don't know. It's very cringy that you are interviewing people and you're giving them no privacy with interviewing. Now, to my knowledge, he does let them people know that. It should be a warning sign to them, but people be wanting their jobs. They be needing money. They got bills to pay. So I get it. But anyway, give me a second. I'm going to give y'all a little bit of our clown circus commercial. And while I try to pull that clip in, that's going to show y'all even more of how horrible he is.
As the topic of your live is telling her business. I can't tell what.
All right, y'all. Sorry, I don't know what happened to that. It was a clip that I processed prior to this live that I can't find. And I didn't want to keep y'all holding any longer. But anyway, in that clip, he went further with this new employee situation and went to saying how they're about to do their training or whatever. And the guy was saying that, his wife's 30th birthday is on that particular day that they're starting training. So he's going to have to miss his wife's 30th birthday. And Darius is on his live talking to his D-Hive, D-Wife Colt. And he's just like, and for a second, I actually cared and then I didn't. And so he was saying that, this is a world where I have to make sacrifices and I missed my grandfather's funeral. We know he missed it by choice, but that's a whole nother story. But he's like, I missed my grandfather's funeral. And so now he's basically going in like, I really don't care. This is all about business. And then the guy joins the live. So somebody probably was like, he's on live talking about you. The guy joins the live and then Darius flips the script. And then he's like, oh, y'all, he just joined. And then he's like, hey, I'm sharing your story just so you know, but don't comment if you don't want people to know who you are. People gonna find out who he is eventually. I just letting you know, sir. They're gonna find out. They find out who everyone is. And so Darius then flips the script into how he's sympathizing with the guy. But I'm like, your true colors have already come out and you're about to drag your brand new employee. Like, why even bring up that? Like, why does your new employee have to become content? I don't know, y'all. It's special over there. Okay, so we got a few comments. I'm gonna get through these last start comments that are wonderful moderators on the back end Alice Blessed Child of God, and Kim Yaka, aka Kim, have starred for us. So let's see, Lisa Dianson. Vale, would you ever interview Darius if he wanted you to do an interview with him? I guess this is totally just like pie in the sky kind of thinking. He would never, ever, 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 ever want to be interviewed by me. I know that for a fact. Would I be open to it? Not really. No, it would. I wouldn't. I wouldn't, because it would be for y'all. Like, it would not be for me. I don't need it. And he wouldn't. He wouldn't want to participate. And I know he's gonna lie. So no, he's not a person that can own up to his ish. And so it would all be for naught. And he gaslights. Y'all know that he gaslights. So why would I subject myself to that? Because of the fact that I do have personal involvement, and it's not just about these arbitrary stories. Because he's gonna, anything that I'm not personally aware of, he's gonna lie about, and then it'll be things I can't prove otherwise. And then what I do know to be fact, he's gonna gaslight. So no. To answer your question, no. No and no. Don Smart, that's the thing. If you listen to him close enough, you will catch him telling the truth about his shenanigans. Absolutely, Don. You're spot on with that. Absolutely. Lisa saying he uses his comments to dox people. Whoever speaks against him in the comments, the D-Hive starts doxing them for making comments against Darius. Absolutely. And so that's what has worked for them for nearly a decade, until the last 2 years. I mean, even though they still, they attempted it since. But this is how he was able to keep his survivors, aka victims, silent or silenced. It's not that people never spoke out about him. It's not that people never had issues with him until 2 years ago. The lie he'll tell. He'll tell the lie that no one ever said anything or spoke out about him until those restaurants closed. That's a lie from the pit of hell. The restaurants closing made it public because the news covered that piece of it. And then it gave some people the news platform. They're interested in interviewing people at that point. And that's when Sunny Anderson was finally able to get her voice heard on a national level, basically, because that stuff went on YouTube and all of that. Prior to that, her brand, I'll say her demographic was not the right demographic to get the word out, because Darius's demographic ain't the same as Sunny Anderson's. Hers is a mixture and primarily Caucasian. His is primarily Black and African-American women. That's not her main base. So when she did speak out on Twitter and all of that, the times that she has spoken out, it wasn't really going too far. But when the news interviewed her, boom, that's when, the sparks flew. Then that's when he also tried to send her a cease and desist. Now, prior to that, he ain't said nothing with her chattering on Twitter, and it ain't really going nowhere because most of y'all ain't on Twitter. And so anyway, that's when he tried to, send her a cease and desist. Her attorneys responded that according to the state of Georgia, you had to pay that judgment because of the fact that you were a scammer. And so therefore she can call you a scammer. And so she has continued to call him a scammer. And that's why I call him a scammer, because I know I can. Because he is. Now my eyes are getting tired, y'all. Let me see. We only got a few more though. Can you do a series about the friend slash assistant who moved out of state to Georgia to help him with his restaurants? I think they fell out. I think you're talking about Christy. I actually know Christy, knew her back then, hung out with her plenty of times. Actually still communicate with her from time to time. She actually came out and spoke honestly about Darius on this channel. So you may have missed it. I didn't, unfortunately I unstarted. So I forgot. Was that Don that I was just talking to? But that is on my channel. Actually, since I can share my screen, let me see if I can show y'all which one it is real quick. So we just hanging out right now. Share my screen. Let me go to the right. Is it this one? Hold on, y'all. Oh, it's this one. Okay. Did it move on? It moved on me. Okay. Here we go. Bear with me. Amateur at work. Okay, so I'm going to my channel and I'm going to show y'all the actual video that it is. For those of you who are interested, because I'm about to find me something to eat and well, not find me something to eat. I already know I'm eating. I brought home food from home so that I wouldn't be in the restaurants all week. So I'm about to warm up my food and then I'm going to be going to bed. But if some of you want to still, look at this stuff, y'all can tune into this video. And the crazy part is it's starting right with her on the screen. So that's who I think Don is referring to. Is that Don's comment also on this? That's funny. Your comment is also on the screen over here on the actual video. So anyway, Christy and I actually talked immediately after Darius's Larry Reid live interview that particular night. So he went on Larry Reid live and lied, and that was right prior to when he was lying, saying that Black Enterprise had apologized to him and they were going to retract that entire story, the one that we read, the recipes and receipts that we read over the past 2 weeks. So anyway, we ended up getting on live after that, and I will apologize for the quality and for my horrible interviewing skills because I was new to that and really emotionally, hyped in the moment because for me, it was a lot of old stuff being drummed up because honestly, I had just let it go, suppressed it, and moved on with my life. I was good. But then it was like, it was bubbling back up and then connecting with Christy again and seeing what he did to her. And I didn't know that part of the story until I had recently connected with her like a week or two prior to that. And some other people, like people just started coming out the woodwork and coming to me, people I knew through him, etc. And then I had at that point talked to Kia Morgan Smith myself as well. And so I got to hear him on a recorded tape saying the lies about our business situation, but also hearing him say he literally plotted on us to scam us. He said it, that he plotted on us. Like he decided that he was going to do what he did to us. So even just knowing that it didn't happen by accident in a way, the way that I thought it did, that at a certain point he decided he was just going to scam us. It was all of that. So I said all that to say I interrupt her a lot. I talk a lot through that. And I didn't notice until after. But it's still good. Like y'all into the juice. It's good. Anyway, Kimberly in style says, so no entrepreneurs have homes. Exactly. Exactly. Thank God that's not true, because then I would be homeless. So there's that. And I'm like, he has entrepreneurs as followers. I know that for a fact. And they have homes. Some of them have homes. So they know that's not true. But you can't correct them. They can't correct him. And he knows that. He has set such a tone. It's such an emotionally abusive relationship where he knows that he set a tone there that they know if they come and say something contradictory to what he's saying in that moment, that they will potentially be blocked and kicked out of that community. And some of them, just the thought of that is too much. Right. I had read this before. Can't get a mortgage if you're a scammer. Exactly. That's what he should be saying. I can't get a mortgage because I'm a scammer. But you're a millionaire, right, Precious G? So this whole thing about, all of this issues with being able to buy a house, when there are entrepreneurs who are only 100,000aires who get homes all of the time, every day, they're closing on homes. Kim Yuka says, someone said Houston, Texas tonight on his live. Someone said Houston, Texas. I'm not 100% sure what that means. I know he has a house in Houston, Texas, but I'm not sure of the context of this comment. I think I started that and shouldn't have. Might have been you referring to somebody else or communicating with someone else. Marianne Coker says he can't get a home because his credit is bad and he don't have the money to put down. Well, obviously, right, exactly. So it's probably a combination of that credit is bad as well, although you're a multi-millionaire. Well, he says, because recently, not too long ago, at some point he was saying he had millions. So it's just the math ain't mathing. The math ain't mathing. Okay, and then last one for the night, because we are 2 hours and 30 minutes. Jesus. Marianne says it shows that he is going to do 2 dinners on the same day. One at 3, one at 7, first being at Atlanta in March. Yeah, he sometimes does those double dinners. Yeah, he sometimes does that. I'm not sure if I'm understanding the context or not. But anyway, that video, I did show y'all the video, but I just thought about the fact I never said the title. So the video, if you want to see it, where Christy gives her story. Oh, because Christy, when she was in the Larry Reid live chat while I was playing or whatever, she was commenting, and because Darius talked about her and lied on her in that, and she was commenting, and they were blocking all of her comments. They silenced her. So it's like if he's innocent and all of that, and everybody's lying, why is she silenced? Like when she was trying to tell her version, she was never given a platform. So I gave her the platform. That's another reason we interviewed. So it's called Darius Cooks. I'm sorry, I'm so used to saying that. Darius Cooks Larry Reid live interview. Commentary from his ex-friends. So it's both of us. And notice I didn't say ex-boyfriend and ex-friend. It's ex-friends because both of us were just his friends. But anyway, that's all I have for us this evening. Thank you to everyone who has joined us. I really greatly appreciate y'all. I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to make that happen no matter what. I'm saying that. We'll be back together tomorrow because we're going to go over the Alex V. Miller. For those of you who may have missed, because sometimes I forget people join at different times and they miss pieces. But the Alex V. Miller, we're going to do the update of this story that I covered a few months ago. And yeah, I got some. It's going to be interesting. Trust me. It's very interesting. It's interesting to me. As I was getting into it, I'm like, ooh, this is going to be good. They're going to love this. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Also, thank you to, I'm sorry, y'all, my setup is a little janked up trying to be here at this Airbnb at on an island at the kitchen. Y'all let's see this. I'm gonna send y'all the picture in the VIP. In our VIP, excuse me, y'all. In our VIP Facebook group, I'm going to send the photos of my setup that I have here at the Airbnb so y'all can see why I might be struggling a little bit. It's decent, but y'all see. For those of y'all who care. But thank you for our front end moderators, Marianne Coker, Lisa Diane Hunt, Don Smart, Tish W, and Precious G. And hopefully I'm not missing anybody else. My eyes are starting to cross on me a little bit, y'all. I apologize. I think I got everybody. I think I got all our front end moderators. And if I'm missing one of you, please forgive me. I will catch you on the next time. And then also thank you to my backstage moderators. If I haven't put them to sleep by now, because we way over. Alice Blessed Child of God and Kimiaka, aka Kim. Thank you, ladies, so much. Thank everyone who has sent the super chats, cash apps, all of that good stuff. I really greatly appreciate y'all. And until next time, until tomorrow, well, I'm saying until the next time, y'all make sure to take care and
5, 6, 7, 8. Why you gotta lie so much? You must wake up and just make up stuff. Cause I just do not understand why. Every time you talk, you tell a quick lie. You and your lies gotta go. Because I'm tired of talking to Pinocchio. Then you had a nerve to look folks in the eyes. Knowing that you telling them lies. You be telling them lies. I asked you about this. Then you lied about it. I asked you about that. Then you lied about it. Get them lies together, they all over the place. I bet if Jesus came back, you a lie to his face. Damn, Pinocchio. I guess you wanna see how far your nose can grow. I said, Pinocchio. I guess you wanna see how far your nose can grow. Now, boo! Let's go. Start telling all them lies. Number one, let's go. Cause I don't believe that you say at this point. Cause all you do is lie.